Science fiction movies are full of cute robots, but one of the best is Johnny Five from Short Circuit 1 and 2. To fans of these movies, Johnny Five is still alive. But how much do you know about the making of the Short Circuit duology? Here are 16 electrifying facts about the Short Circuit movies. Director John Badham wanted Johnny Five to look like he was from 50 to 100 years in the future, and designers Sid Mead and Eric Allard worked hard to make the robot look nothing like R2-D2, C-3PO, or other famous movie robots. The biggest inspiration for Mead's design was an organ-playing robot that he saw at a robotics exhibition at the Tsukuba Expo in Japan, which had 2 camera eyes to scan music so it could play. Mead also insisted that Johnny Five was feasible for military combat, with his back-mounted laser. It took a dozen people to operate Johnny Five at one time, but when they were shooting the Three Stooges scene with the reprogrammed assassin droids, that went up to 18 per robot. When Badham screened a rough cut of the first movie for audiences, he got annoyed at Johnny Five's constant chattering. Badham found himself telling the robot, "Shut up," so he had to go back and weed out a lot of the robot's dialogue to use it more sparingly.
Your life with accountant in a can. And if you act now, we'll send along this
you didn't
free
come
kit.
a million miles to do television commercials, did you?
John Badham included callbacks to his earlier films, including Saturday Night Fever. The dance sequence was a shout-out to John Travolta's disco classic, and the Proving Ground scene at the beginning was a reference to his previous movie, Blue Thunder. Wilson and his co-writer, Brent Maddock, couldn't figure out how Johnny Five comes to life. They considered making Johnny Five a cyborg, whose body had been replaced with mechanical parts, until only his human brain remained. But that was too grotesque and scary. They also considered having aliens, or maybe alien robots, come down and bring him to life. But instead, they reluctantly went with the mysterious lightning bolt, because it was simple and allowed the story to get going quickly. Johnny Five was originally going to be stop motion, and they came up with some sequences to exploit this, including one where the robot shuffles a deck of cards and does some fancy dealing. But Badham didn't want the central character of his film to be added later in post-production. He wanted his actors to have something physically present to interact with. There's one scene where Johnny Five flips a coin like a gangster, which looks like stop motion, but this was actually achieved using 2 pieces of piano wire, and then the film was sped up. Johnny Five has a third arm. You don't see much of it in the film, but it's here when he makes breakfast for Stephanie. Johnny Five was going to be painted jungle camouflage and Arctic white at various points, but this was abandoned, although the camouflage look was brought back in pink for the second movie.
Por favor, need assistance to find Benjamin and Frederick, 135 West Lafayette Boulevard.
Horror director Wes Craven recycled Johnny Five's chassis for his killer robot movie, Deadly Friend.
He can crush you if he wants. He has 3 multi-valve compressors.
They built 5 different heads for Johnny Five. One head, which had flashbulb eyes, was used for the scene where Stephanie thinks Johnny is an alien. Another had eyes that popped out for the part where Johnny sees Stephanie naked and chases a grasshopper.
Error.
They built 15 versions of Johnny Five, and the 5th version actually short-circuited. It was actually spooky that the 5th version of Johnny Five was the one that had a short circuit, but after they rebuilt it, this version was the most reliable of the bunch, exceeding his maximum battery life. Ali Sheedy thought of Johnny Five as a real co-star. She treated him as an equal during production, although she also felt exhausted by not having a real human co-star to give her more energy back. Also, Stephanie's dance sequence with Johnny Five took 2 weeks to rehearse and choreograph, but only 2 days to film. Early audiences booed their relationship. Test audiences weren't up for watching Ali Sheedy kiss and hug a robot, and there were lots of hisses and boos during the romantic scenes. So many of these scenes were cut from the final movie.
Oh my goodness, I am sporting a tremendous woody right now.
Ben, the Indian scientist, started off as a wasp. But director John Badham decided to make Ben Indian. To accommodate this change, actor Fisher Stevens was fired and replaced with Bronson Pinchot, who played Balky on Perfect Strangers. Then Pinchot was fired and Stevens was put back into the role. To those who were offended by the Indian stereotypes of this character, Badham said people were, quote, overly sensitive, and, quote, it has gotten to the point where you can't make fun of anyone.
There was times when I thought it was offensive and we didn't use it, you know. We'd cut it, you know. Ali was very good at that because she really didn't want anything offensive in the film, and Maybe there's a couple moments. I think they're funny and they work. I didn't mean to be offensive in any way.
Indian audiences thought Ben really was from India. There was a widespread rumor that actor Fisher Stevens was Bollywood actor Javed Jaffrey, and it got to the point where Jaffrey had to issue a statement denying he was in the movie. Ali Sheedy was deemed too expensive for the sequel, so they just had her record 10 seconds of audio, which Johnny Five plays for Ben when they are reunited.
Dear Ben, we decided that the only way we could help was to send number 5. He can build your toy robot. But you know how crazy he is for input, so please keep an eye on him. Good luck. Love, Stephanie and Newton.
Meanwhile, Steve Guttenberg refused to return for the sequel because they had no script to show him, a decision that Guttenberg regrets to this day. Got any more fun facts about Johnny Five? Tell us in the comments and like and subscribe for more original IO9 videos.